They left for Europe on my birthday. My name is Lawrence Henderson. I'm 66 years old. And for 12 days, my son and his wife handed me a 2-page chore list, color-coded, time-stamped, while they boarded an $11,200 Mediterranean cruise. No birthday cake, no card, no acknowledgement. It was also my late wife's birthday, her first since she died. They asked me to feed their dog, drive their kids, clean their house. I smiled, waved goodbye from the driveway. And in that moment, standing there in front of the garage apartment where I'd been living for nearly 3 years, I made a decision. I didn't yell, didn't argue. I'm a history teacher. I taught for 38 years. I know how wars are won, not with anger, with strategy. If you're watching this, please subscribe and let me know where you're watching from. This story matters more than you think. Let me tell you how a history teacher taught his attorney son the most important lesson of his life. But I need to back up, show you how I got here. My wife Eleanor died January 15th, 2022. Cancer. We'd been married 44 years. I retired from teaching 6 months later. Couldn't focus on lesson plans when every room in our house reminded me of her. The house, 5 bedrooms, 8 acres, Loudoun County, Virginia. I inherited it from my parents in 1995. Raised my son Garrett there. Taught him to ride a bike in that driveway. Built him a tree house in the oak tree out back. 2 months after Eleanor died, Garrett called. He's a corporate attorney now. Works at a big D.C. firm, Whitfield and Associates. Makes $285,000 a year. Dad, he said, you can't stay in that house alone. It's too much for you. I was 63. I'd been mowing those 8 acres for 29 years. Natalie and I have been talking, he continued. His wife, pharmaceutical sales executive, makes $320,000. We'll move in, help you. The twins need more space anyway. Sophie and Ethan, my grandkids, 8 years old. I'd do anything for them. Where would I go? I asked. The garage apartment. We converted it last year, remember? 450 square feet. Separate entrance. You'll have privacy. Privacy. That's what he called it. What he meant was out of sight. I moved into that garage apartment in March 2022. Told myself it was temporary. That I was helping. That this is what family does. It wasn't temporary. The master bedroom, where Eleanor and I slept for 27 years, where she died holding my hand, became their home office. Her garden view, the one she tended every morning, became the background for Natalie's Instagram posts. I got a 450 square foot space with one window facing the driveway. I could see their cars. His $89,000 BMW. Black. Personalized plate ATKESQ, Attorney Esquire. My 2015 Honda Civic looked embarrassed parked next to it. But I told myself family comes first. Eleanor would want this. Then the chores started. Every morning, 6 a.m., my phone buzzed. Text from Natalie, color-coded schedule. 6:30, make twins lunches. 7, walk dog. 7:45, drive Sophie and Ethan to school. 3:15, pick up. 4, homework, help. 5, start dinner. Weekends were worse. Yard work, 8 acres, house maintenance, babysitting while they went to parties they didn't invite me to. Can you stay in the garage tonight, Larry? Natalie would ask. Not Dad, Larry. We're hosting colleagues. It's a professional thing. I was the help, in my own house. Every month I paid $13,600 in property taxes. Divided by 12, that's $1,133 monthly. I paid utilities, $450 a month. Insurance, $2,200 a year. When the roof needed repairs, I paid. When the furnace broke, I paid. Garrett and Natalie, 0. No rent, no utilities, no groceries. I bought for everyone. I did the math later, with help. Professional childcare, 5 days a week, 48 weeks a year. That's 240 days. Going rate in Loudoun County, $131 per day. That's $31,500 in childcare value. Per year. Add property costs, and I was contributing roughly $55,000 annually. While living in a garage, I told myself I was helping. Really, I was being used. Then came my birthday. Before I tell you what happened that morning, you need to understand what I stood to lose. Money, first. If this pattern continued, and Garrett made it clear he expected it to, I'd be spending $55,000 a year indefinitely. I'm 66. I could live another 20 years. That's over $1 million. But I'd been hearing things. Conversations that stopped when I entered rooms. Garrett on the phone in his office. Estate planning and property transfer and appropriate care facility. I knew what that meant. Assisted living. Once I was there, the house, worth $1,125,000 according to the last county assessment, would become theirs. They were positioning me as unable to manage alone. Never mind that I'd managed fine for 66 years. But money wasn't the real fear. Sophie and Ethan were. Every morning, those kids burst through the garage door. "Grandpa Larry!" Sophie's voice. Ethan's backpack hitting the floor. They were the only pieces of Eleanor I had left. Her laugh and Sophie's giggle. Her curiosity and Ethan's questions. Story time after homework. I'd teach them history through Eleanor's perspective. How she'd met me at a protest in '76. How she'd convinced me to become a teacher instead of going to law school. "Grandma sounds cool," Sophie said once. She was the coolest. If I spoke up, set boundaries, I'd lose them. Garrett would cut off access. Use them as leverage. I knew he would. But there was something I feared more than losing them. Eleanor's last words to me in the hospital. January 14th, 2:22 a.m. She couldn't speak much by then. Squeezed my hand. "Larry," she whispered, "don't let them forget what matters." I thought she meant the twins. Remember her? But she was looking at me. Worried eyes. "Show Garrett," she said. "That character beats credentials." She knew. Somehow dying, she knew what was coming. I'd spent 38 years teaching teenagers to stand up to bullies, to know their worth, to set boundaries. 2,000 kids, give or take. I got letters. "Mr. H, you changed my life. You're the reason I went to college. You taught me I mattered." And here I was, hiding in a garage, taking orders via color-coded text, letting my son's wife call me Larry instead of Dad. What message was I teaching Sophie and Ethan? That dignity doesn't matter? That you let people use you if you love them? That teachers, that I, was worth less than attorneys and executives? I'd rather lose temporary comfort than permanent self-respect. That's what I stood to lose. Not a house, not money. My soul. The thing Eleanor loved about me. The thing I'd tried to pass on to 2,000 students. That's what was at stake. And on September 22nd, 2024, I decided, no more. September 22nd, 6:30 a.m., I woke to unusual sounds from the main house. Footsteps, rapid. Thuds, suitcases being dragged. I dressed, walked across the driveway, let myself in through the side door, the one I use now, the service entrance. Kitchen lights on, Garrett on his phone, Natalie checking a list, 4 pieces of Toomey luggage, black ballistic nylon. I'd seen the price tag once when she bought them. $2,400 for luggage. "Yes," Garrett said into his phone. "Car service at 8. Dulles, International Terminal." I cleared my throat. They turned. "Oh, Larry!" Natalie's voice. Not surprised, slightly annoyed. "Good. You're here. We need to talk." "Going somewhere?" I asked. "Last-minute opportunity," Garrett said, pocketing his phone. "Natalie's company booked a Mediterranean cruise for regional VPs, 12 days. She gets a +1. Today?" I looked at the calendar on the wall. September 22nd. Circled in my handwriting. Below it penciled, E's birthday too. "Today," Natalie confirmed. Perfect timing, actually. I waited for them to say it. "Happy birthday, Dad." "Happy birthday, Larry." Anything. Silence. Natalie handed me papers, stapled, 2 pages. "We've prepared detailed instructions, twin schedule, house tasks, color-coded for clarity." I scanned the list. Feed dog 7 a.m. and 5 p.m., walk dog 7:30 a.m. and 8 p.m. What? Sophie's piano Tuesday, 4 p.m., Ethan's dentist. Thursday, 2 p.m., soccer practice. Saturday, 9 a.m., grocery shopping, list attached. Water plants, check mail, clean gutters. This is a lot, I said. It's all there, Garrett said. Shouldn't be complicated. 12 days is a long time. Larry, Natalie's tone, sharp. Honestly, you sit around all day. We're providing the twins with cultural enrichment. We've earned this, Dad. Garrett again. Natalie made VP. I closed the Morrison deal. Biggest of my career. Congratulations, I said. Meant it. That's wonderful. The twins thundered down the stairs. Backpacks. School uniforms. Grandpa! Sophie launched herself at me. I caught her, 8 years old. Eleanor's eyes. Are you taking us to school? Ethan asked. Every day, buddy, I said. We're leaving, Natalie announced. Car's here. Garrett grabbed the last suitcase. Natalie checked her phone. You have our number if there's an emergency, Garrett said. But we'll be on the ship. Limited service. Understood. They walked out. No hug, no wave, no thank you. The twins looked at me. Do Mommy and Daddy not like birthdays? Sophie asked. My throat tightened. What do you mean, sweetheart? You told us it's your birthday. And Grandma Eleanor's. Mommy said we don't have time to make you a card. I knelt down, eye level. It's okay. I know you wanted to. We made one anyway, Ethan whispered. But Mommy put it somewhere. That's very sweet. Thank you. We should go, Sophie said, checking the kitchen clock. School starts at 8:15. I drove them. Came back to an empty house. Stood in the kitchen. Instruction list in my hand. Looked at the calendar. September 22nd. My 66th birthday. Eleanor's too. We always celebrated together. 44 years, breakfast in bed, her famous blueberry pancakes, dancing in the kitchen while coffee brewed. This was the first birthday without her. And they'd forgotten. Or worse, they hadn't forgotten. They just didn't care. On the counter, I saw the printed cruise booking. Mediterranean luxury experience. 12 days, 11 nights. $11,200. I did quick math. That's 2.3 times my monthly pension. Next to it, the twins' schedule. Every 15-minute block accounted for. Soccer, piano, tutoring, dentist. They'd planned this. Booked the cruise, printed the schedule, packed the luggage. They knew it was my birthday. My first without Eleanor, and they left anyway. That's when something shifted. Not anger, not rage. Clarity. I walked into Garrett's office. His desk. The instruction list said, Tuesday, dust, home office. Well, it was only Saturday. But I'm thorough, and that's when I found it. The folder was right there. File label. Henderson Property, Estate Planning. My name, my property. I hesitated. This was his private office, his private papers. But the instruction list said dust the desk. And you can't dust around papers. You have to move them. I opened the folder, printed emails. The top one, dated August 30th, 2024. 3 weeks before my birthday. Subject line, Henderson Property Transfer Strategy. From Philip Westbrook, Estate Planning Attorney. Garrett, as discussed, if your father deeds the property to you now, we avoid estate taxes of approximately $180,000. I recommend positioning this as elder care planning. At 66, he likely trusts your legal expertise. Once the transfer is complete, you control the property and can arrange appropriate living facility if needed. Let me know when you want to proceed. Appropriate living facility, assisted living, nursing home. I read it again, slower. He likely trusts your legal expertise. They were counting on me being too naive to question my own son. Next email, Garrett's reply, September 2nd. Thanks, Philip. Working on conversation angle. He's sentimental about the house, but ultimately it's a business decision. Natalie and I need the space, and frankly, maintenance is beyond him now. We'll keep you posted. Maintenance is beyond him. I'd maintained that house for 29 years. Built the deck, installed the kitchen counters, reshingled the roof twice. I took out my phone, photographed each email, 4 in total, clear documentation of their plan. Then I saw Garrett's iPad. On the desk, screen glowing, unlocked, text notification visible. Group chat name, Power Couples Club. I knew I shouldn't, but Natalie's voice echoed. You sit around all day. I tapped the notification. The chat opened. Scroll back a week. September 15th. Natalie. Ugh, Larry asked about our trip. So awkward. Friend. Wait, your father-in-law? Natalie. Garrett's dad. Lives in our garage. Former teacher. Very simple. Simple. Garrett's reply. LOL, simple Larry. He thinks I should have been a history teacher too. Can you imagine? Another friend. Why is he in your garage? Garrett. Long story. After Mom died, felt obligated. He's useful for kid stuff at least. Natalie. Silver lining. Free childcare. Saves us $3,000 a month, and he maintains the property. Garrett out. Won't be forever. Working on transition plan. Natalie. Thank God. His Honda Civic parked out front ruins our whole aesthetic. I scrolled further. 28 messages total. All discussing me. How I was a burden. An embarrassment. A problem to be solved. I took screenshots. 14 of them. Every message where they called me simple, useful, a temporary situation. Then I sat at the desk. My old desk. This used to be my bedroom. Eleanor's and mine. I opened the bottom drawer. Still had my old files. One folder, worn at the edges. Property deed. I pulled it out. Unfolded the document. County seal. Dated December 19, 1995. Lawrence Henderson, sole owner, acquired via inheritance from Howard and June Henderson. Eleanor's name had been added in 1996 when we updated our will. After she died, the county removed it, filed the death certificate, updated the deed. Now it read, Lawrence Henderson, sole owner, not Garrett, not joint ownership, not family trust, mine. I photographed the deed, every page. Then I sat there, in the master bedroom that used to be mine, looking at emails planning to take my property, at texts mocking my life's work, at a deed that proved everything was legally mine. And I had 3 days before Sophie and Ethan came home from school. 3 days before the twins needed me. 12 days before Garrett and Natalie returned. I stood up, closed the folder, left everything exactly as I'd found it, dusted the desk, and made a phone call. Over the next 4 days, their Instagram posts rolled in. The twins showed me. During homework time, Ethan had Natalie's tablet. Look, Grandpa, Mommy and Daddy are on a boat. Photo 1, Garrett and Natalie on a yacht deck, champagne glasses raised, sunset behind them. Caption, living our best life. Hashtag executive retreat. Hashtag Mediterranean magic. Blessed life. 312 likes. Comments. You two deserve it. Couple goals. Meanwhile, I was making peanut butter sandwiches for their children's lunch. Photo 2. Fancy restaurant. Tasting menu, 7 courses visible. Caption, when you work hard, you play hard. Celebrating my VP promotion. Hashtag career goals. Hashtag luxury travel. 406 likes. I was driving their kids to soccer practice, walking their dog, cleaning their gutters. Photo 3, historic site in Santorini. Selfie with white buildings behind them. Caption, cultured and successful. This is what dreams look like. Hashtag power couple. Hashtag living the dream. 523 likes. Sophie looked at the screen. Mommy and Daddy look happy. They do, I agreed. Why didn't they take us? Ethan asked. Good question. They needed adult time, buddy. Because sometimes the grown-ups do that. Did you and Grandma Eleanor take trips without Daddy? I thought about it. Twice. Once to Williamsburg for our anniversary. Once to the coast. Your dad stayed with Grandma's sister. But we called him every night. Brought him back souvenirs. Garrett hadn't called the twins once. 4 more days passed. Their posts continued. Pool lounging, spa treatments, wine tastings. Day 5. September 27th, 7 p.m. The twins were in bed. I was reviewing their homework folders. My phone rang. Unknown number. Loudoun County area code. Hello? Mr. H., it's Timothy Reed, class of 2001. I sat up straighter. Timothy, how are you? Good, sir. Listen, this is awkward. I saw your son's wife on social media. She posted about a cruise. Yes, they're traveling. Right, but is everything okay? I said nothing. And Mr. H, some of us from your old classes were talking. We know Mrs. Henderson passed last year. We sent flowers, remember? And September 22nd was your birthday, wasn't it? How did he... I remember, Timothy continued, because you always let students bring in birthday treats, and yours was the same week as homecoming. You tell us about how you and Mrs. Henderson shared a birthday. My throat closed. And they left on your birthday? His voice hardened. For vacation? They have busy lives, Timothy. It's fine. With respect, Mr. H, it's not fine. We also saw an old post where your son referred to you as help. That's not okay. They saw it. People saw it. You changed my life, Timothy said. You know that. My parents couldn't help with college. You stayed after school 3 days a week, tutored me for SATs, wrote my recommendation letters, edited my essays. I got a full ride to UVA because of you. You earned it, Timothy. No, sir. You earned respect. And from what we're seeing, you're not getting it. Is there anything we can do? I sat in the garage apartment, 450 square feet, single window, looking at the main house where I'd raised my son, and I realized people see it. Former students see it. I'm not crazy. I'm not overreacting. Actually, Timothy, what do you do now? Wealth management, financial advising. Why? I might need some guidance. Could we meet when they return? How about Monday? They get back in a week, right? Let's meet before. Coffee, 9 a.m. I'll bring my laptop. We'll review your situation. Monday works. Mr. H, whatever you need. You invested in me. Let me invest in your future. The call ended. I sat there, in the dark, in the garage. External validation. It wasn't just me. People who knew me, respected me, saw what was happening. Former students I'd taught 23 years ago remembered, cared, valued me, more than my own son did. I looked at the main house. Lights off, empty, just me and 2 kids who called me Grandpa with genuine love. I'd taught 2,000 students to stand up to bullies, to know their worth, to fight for dignity. Time to take my own lesson. Monday, coffee with Timothy, and then we'd see. Monday, September 29th, 9 a.m. The coffee shop was one of those local places, not a chain. Hardwood floors, real mugs. Timothy was already there, corner table, laptop open. He stood when I entered, shook my hand, firm grip. Mr. H, thank you for meeting me. Thank you for calling, Timothy. We sat. He had a folder, professional, organized. Okay, he said, let's review your situation. I need to see what we're working with. I pulled out my phone, showed him the photographs. Estate planning emails, group text screenshots, property deed. He read in silence. His jaw tightened. This is elder financial abuse, he said finally. Legally speaking, I don't want to press charges. I'm not saying you should. I'm saying what this is. He opened his laptop. Let's look at numbers. You own the property outright? Yes. Inherited from my parents in '95. Last assessment value? $1,125,000, he typed. And you've been paying all property costs since they moved in? March 2022. 2 years, 7 months. Property taxes? $13,600 annually. More typing. That's over $36,000 in taxes alone. Utilities? $450 monthly. That's about $12,000 total. Insurance? $2,200 yearly. About $6,600 total. Maintenance and repairs? I thought. Roof repairs, furnace replacement, plumbing, probably another $15,000 over 2 years. Timothy leaned back. You've contributed approximately $69,800 in direct costs, plus childcare value. 5 days a week, 48 weeks annually, that's 240 days. Professional rate in Loudoun County is $131 per day. Times 2.6 years, he calculated, $81,900 in childcare value. He turned the laptop toward me. Total contribution, $151,700, while living in a garage. The number sat between us. I didn't keep track. I said. They did. Or they should have. Mr. H, legally, that's your house. They're guests. You could give them 30-day notice today. But Sophie and Ethan, oh, I understand. Look, I want you to meet someone. Dorothy Caldwell. You know her? Dorothy. We retired together from the school district. She's consulting now, educational consulting, but she has real estate connections through school board service. Would you like to explore options? What kind of options? Timothy folded his hands. You could sell, downsize, set boundaries, move somewhere designed for active adults. With your pension and savings, you're financially secure. He pulled up another screen. Your monthly income, pension, $4,950. Life insurance investment from Mrs. Henderson, $6,200. Total, $11,150 per month. Your retirement savings, $535,000 in various accounts. Mr. H, he looked at me directly. You don't need them. They need you. I sat with that. Question, Timothy said. What would Mrs. Henderson want you to do? I drove home in silence. 11:15 a.m. The twins wouldn't be home until 3:15 p.m. I had time. I went to Garrett's office again. One folder I'd missed. Label, Mom, final documents. Inside, Eleanor's medical directives, funeral planning, and an envelope, sealed. Address on front in her handwriting. To Garrett, open only with your father. Never opened. Hidden in a drawer. My hands shook. Eleanor had been dead 2 years and 8 months. This letter was written when? I checked the date on the flap. December 2021, 1 month before she died. I opened it carefully, unfolded the pages. 2 sheets, blue ink, her cursive. My dearest Garrett, if you're reading this with your father, I'm gone. I'm not afraid of that. I'm afraid of what comes after for him. You were 6 years old when your dad came home crying. A student he'd tutored for 2 years got into Harvard. Full scholarship. Your dad said, "That's why I teach, Garrett. Not for money. For moments like this." I'm asking you to remember that. Your father gave you everything, not just money for college, but values. He taught you that success means nothing without character. Promise me, son, honor him. Not as an obligation, but as a privilege. Show Sophie and Ethan what gratitude looks like. Don't let your career make you forget where you came from. Love isn't about money. It's about presence. Be present for your father the way he was present for you. You'll inherit this house someday. That's the least important thing I'm leaving you. The most important is the example your father set. Don't waste it. I love you. Make me proud. Mom. I read it twice, 3 times. The ink was slightly smudged. Water damage, tears, hers when she wrote it. Mine now. She knew. Dying, she knew what Garrett would become. She tried to warn him. Tried to warn me. Promise me, she'd whispered in the hospital. Show Garrett that character beats credentials. This was what she meant. I photographed the letter, carefully refolded it, put it back in the envelope. Then I picked up my phone, called Dorothy Caldwell. She answered on the second ring. Larry, Timothy called, said you might need help. I need to sell my house, Dorothy, quickly and quietly. Silence. How quickly? They return October 4th. I need to close before then. That's 5 days. Larry, that's ambitious. I don't care about maximum price. I care about speed and certainty. Let me make calls. There's a developer who's been eyeing your area. Land value alone is significant. He might do cash offer, quick close. Make the call. Larry, her voice softened. I'm proud of you. I'm teaching my son one more lesson, Dorothy. That was the most important one. Tuesday, October 1st, 10 a.m. Dorothy called back. Developer offered $1,125,000. Cash. 2-day close. I accept. Larry, are you sure? I'm sure. What's next? Closing is scheduled for October 3rd, Thursday, 10 a.m. Attorney's office. I also found you a townhouse. 55-plus community, 15 minutes away. 3 bedrooms, 1 for you, 1 for office, 1 for guests. For Sophie and Ethan, when they visit. Price? $492,000. Cash deal if you want it. They're motivated. It's been on market 60 days. I'll take it. Larry, I'll take it, Dorothy. Both closing same day? I'll arrange it. 10 a.m. property sale, noon townhouse purchase. You'll need to be out by end of day. I'll be ready. I spent October 2nd packing. The twins at school, 7 hours to work. Professional movers I'd hired arrived at 6 a.m. October 3rd, right after both closings would complete. What I took? Eleanor's recipe box, wooden, hand-carved by her father. 45 recipe cards in her handwriting. Blueberry pancakes, pot roast, apple pie. The grandfather clock. Wedding gift, 1978. Cherry wood. Chimed every hour. We'd danced to its rhythm in the kitchen countless times. Photo albums. 44 years, our wedding. Garrett as a baby. Vacations. Christmases. Eleanor's last birthday. My teaching materials. Lesson plans I'd saved. Letters from students. Awards I'd never displayed. Sophie and Ethan's crayon drawings. All 47 of them. I'd saved every single one from the garage fridge. Eleanor's garden tools, her favorites. The hand trowel worn smooth. The pruning shears she'd sharpened every spring. What I left. Furniture. Most came with the house from my parents. Kitchen appliances. They'd need those. Garage items. Tools, workbench, emptiness. I walked through Eleanor's garden one last time. October 3rd, 9 a.m. before the closing. The yellow roses she had planted, still blooming. I cut one, her favorite, wrapped it in a paper towel, placed it on the kitchen counter with a note. For Eleanor, she would have wanted you to remember. 9:45 a.m., attorney's office. Documents spread across the conference table. Sale contract, deed transfer, closing statements. The developer's representative sat across from me. Businessman, efficient, he wanted the land. The house was secondary. Mr. Henderson, you understand this sale is final? I understand. And you've reviewed the disclosure statements? I have. Then if you'll sign here and here, initial here. I signed. 8 pages. Wire transfer confirmed. $1,125,000 minus closing costs, $6,200. Net, $1,118,800. The property that had been in my family since 1995. Gone. Legally transferred. 10:17 a.m., noon, different attorney's office, townhouse purchase. 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, 1,400 square feet. Community clubhouse, library, fitness center, walking trails, 15 minutes from the old house. Close enough for the twins to visit. Purchase price, $492,000. Cash. I signed. Documents complete. 12:34 p.m. New address, 10247 Riverside Lane, Unit 3B. Keys in my hand, 1 p.m. The movers met me at the townhouse. Everything I'd packed transferred in 4 hours. Dorothy helped arrange furniture. Office here, guest room, twin beds for Sophie and Ethan? Yes, perfect. Timothy arrived at 3 p.m. Brought a gift. Bookshelf. Oak. 6 shelves. Built by his carpentry business he runs on weekends. For all those history books, Mr. H., I set up the guest room carefully. Twin beds, Sophie and Ethan's crayon drawings on the wall, their photos on the nightstand. I wasn't abandoning them. I was creating healthy space. 6 p.m., I drove back to the farmhouse one last time. Walked through empty rooms. The movers had been thorough. Nothing left but memories. Master bedroom, where Eleanor died, where I'd promised her I'd be okay. I'm trying, I whispered to the empty room. I'm trying to be okay. Kitchen, where I'd taught the twins to measure ingredients, to crack eggs, to knead dough. Garage apartment, 450 square feet where I'd lived for 2 years and 7 months. I closed that door, walked to the kitchen counter, placed the legal notice next to the yellow rose. Notice of property sale and eviction. This property was sold October 3rd, 2024. New owner takes possession October 5th, 2024. Current occupants have 30 days to vacate premises per Virginia law. Forwarding address for grandchildren. Visitation arrangements. 1247 Riverside Lane, Unit 3B, Leesburg, VA. Contact for visitation. Please reach out through your attorney or directly to arrange regular visits with Sophie and Ethan. The door is always open for them. Lawrence Henderson, former owner. I locked the doors, both sets of keys in an envelope. Left with the property management company the developer had hired. Sat in my Honda Civic. 124,000 miles. Paid off. Ran fine. Looked at the house one more time. 44 years of marriage. 29 years of ownership. 2 years and 7 months of humiliation. It was just a building now. Eleanor wasn't there. She was in the recipe box on my passenger seat. In the grandfather clock ticking in my new living room. In the roses I'd plant in the community garden. In the lessons I'd taught. In the boundaries I was setting. I drove away. Didn't look in the rearview mirror. October 4th, 3:15 p.m. Next day. The twins' school. I was there for pickup like always. Sophie and Ethan ran to the car. "Grandpa, did Mommy and Daddy's plane land yet?" "Should be landing soon," I said. "Are we going home?" I buckled their seatbelts. "Actually, buddies, Grandpa has a new place. Want to see it?" "A new place?" "Yep. It has a guest room just for you two, with all your drawings on the wall." "Cool. Can we have pizza for dinner?" "Absolutely." I drove them to the townhouse. They explored, loved their room. We ordered pizza, did homework at the kitchen table. 7 p.m. Garrett called my cell. I sent it to voicemail. 7:15 p.m. Natalie called. Voicemail. 7:30 p.m. Garrett again. I answered. And that's when everything came due. "What the hell did you do?" Garrett's voice, shouting. Background noise, Natalie shrieking. I was sitting in my new living room. Grandfather clock ticking. Sophie and Ethan watching a movie in their room. "I sold my house," I said, calm, even. "Your house? We live there. You were guests. Guess who forgot my birthday to go on an $11,200 cruise? You can't just sell. We have kids here. You have 30 days. That's more than legally required. Virginia law only mandates." "I know the law. I'm an attorney." "Then you know I had every legal right." Natalie's voice in the background. "The house is empty. Everything's gone." "My belongings are gone, yes." "Where are you?" Garrett demanded. "We're coming over." "No. If you want to discuss visitation with Sophie and Ethan, contact me through my attorney." "You don't have an attorney." "I do now. Dorothy Caldwell referred me to the school district's legal counsel. He's reviewed everything. The estate planning emails, the group text messages, the pattern of financial exploitation. He agrees my position is sound." Silence. "Dad?" Garrett's voice changed. Lower, calculated, attorney mode. "Let's talk about this reasonably. You're not thinking clearly. This is grief. Eleanor's death." "Don't," my voice cut through. "Don't use your mother's death as an excuse. She wrote you a letter, Garrett. December 2021. Told you to open it with me. You hid it in a drawer. Never opened it. Want to know what it said?" More silence. "She asked you to honor me, to show Sophie and Ethan what gratitude looks like, to remember that character beats credentials. You broke your promise to a dying woman." "Dad, I'm not doing this right now. Sophie and Ethan are watching a movie in their room. Yes, in my home. The one I bought with the money from selling my property. They're welcome here anytime. You and Natalie are welcome when you're ready to treat me as a person, not a convenience." "This is insane." I hung up, turned off my phone. In the guest room, Sophie called out, "Grandpa, can we have popcorn?" "Coming, sweetheart." Within 24 hours, the news spread. Small community. People talk. Natalie's Power Couples Club heard first. Text messages flying, friend to Natalie. "Wait, you got evicted by your father-in-law? I thought you owned that house." Natalie deleted her Instagram posts. The cruise photos, the champagne, the luxury. Too late. Screenshots existed. People had seen. Her professional reputation. Pharmaceutical executive VP who couldn't manage her own housing situation. Garrett's law firm heard. Senior partner called him in. I know because Garrett left a voicemail. Day 3. The firm is asking questions about my family situation. "Dad, you're embarrassing me professionally." Good, I thought. Maybe embarrassment teaches what kindness couldn't. Meanwhile, my phone was ringing, not from Garrett, from former students. Timothy organized a dinner, October 9th, 12 people, all former students, all successful. Doctors, teachers, engineers, business owners. They'd heard. Small town, news travels. Mr. H, one said, "We're so sorry. What can we do?" "You already did it," I told them. "You remembered. You cared. You showed me I mattered." A woman I'd taught in 1998. "You taught me to stand up to my abusive boyfriend. Senior year, you noticed the bruises, got me help. I'm a social worker now because of you, and you finally took your own advice." "Better late than never," I said. Dorothy organized a gathering. Retired teachers, 15 of us. Coffee at the community clubhouse. "Larry, you did what many of us can't," one said. "You set a boundary with family." The principal, retired now, "You taught 2,000 kids that character matters. You just taught one more, your son. Whether he learns the lesson is up to him." But Garrett and Natalie's reality was harsh. Housing, Loudoun County rental market. 4-bedroom house comparable to the farmhouse. $4,200 monthly minimum. Their combined income, $605,000 yearly. Sounds high, but their lifestyle expenses, private school for twins, $32,000 yearly, car leases, $1,800 monthly, country club membership, $15,000 yearly, clothing, dining, entertainment, estimated $50,000 yearly. Previous situation, 0 housing, 0 childcare, 0 utilities. Annual savings, approximately $86,500. New situation, rent, $50,400 yearly, childcare needed, $31,500 yearly. They'd need a nanny now for after-school care. Utilities, $5,400 yearly. Annual cost, $87,300. Financial swing, $173,800 per year. They'd been living above their means, subsidized by me. Natalie's promotion required travel, now complicated without free childcare. Garrett had to refuse client entertainment. No impressive home to host in, their social circle noticed. "What happened to that beautiful farmhouse? Family situation," they'd mumble. Meanwhile, my new reality, townhouse paid in cash. No mortgage, monthly expenses, HOA fees, $450, utilities, $200, groceries, $300, insurance, $100. Total, $1,050 monthly, $13,600 yearly. My income, $11,150 monthly. Plenty. Retirement savings intact, $535,000, plus $616,000 remaining from property sale after townhouse purchase. Total liquid assets, $1,151,000. I was financially secure for the rest of my life. More importantly, I slept through the night for the first time in 2 years and 7 months. No anxiety about morning text messages, no chore lists, no walking on eggshells. I joined the community center's historical society, led lectures on local Civil War history, attended book clubs, made friends my own age who valued conversation over credentials. The local high school called. Would I guest lecture? American history, share primary sources. They'd pay $200 per session. I accepted. Teenagers filled the auditorium. I told them about Eleanor, about protest movements, about standing up for what's right. After, a student approached, 16 years old, shy. "Mr. Henderson, my grandpa lives with us. My parents treat him like he's in the way. What you did, selling your house, that took guts. I'm going to tell my grandpa about you." "Tell him something else," I said. "Tell him his worth isn't determined by who recognizes it." Sophie and Ethan's situation evolved slowly. First visit, awkward, supervised. Garrett and Natalie waited in the car. Second visit, better. They relaxed. We cooked Eleanor's chocolate chip cookies. Third visit, they asked questions. "Why don't you live with us anymore, Grandpa?" I sat them down, kitchen table, age-appropriate honesty. Sometimes grown-ups need different spaces. Your mommy and daddy needed to learn some things, and Grandpa needed to take care of himself. Are you mad at them? I'm sad about choices they made, but I'm not abandoning you. Never. You're always welcome here. This guest room? It's yours. Your drawings are on the wall. Your beds are here. Grandpa loves you. Sophie hugged me. We love you too. Behind the scenes, I'd established something permanent. Trust funds. $200,000 each, managed by Timothy's firm. Matures when they turn 25. For college, for starting their lives, bypassing Garrett entirely. They wouldn't know until they're older. But I'd secured their futures. That mattered more than any house. 3 months later, January 2025. My townhouse. Winter evening. Snow falling outside the window. I was teaching again. Community center program, American history through local eyes. 15 students, retirees mostly. Curious adults. People who wanted to learn for the sake of learning. After class, coffee with Dorothy and Timothy. How are you really? Dorothy asked. Honest answer? Better than I've been in years. Heard from Garrett? Timothy asked. Texts about visitation, formal, polite, nothing personal. Does that hurt? It did. Now it's just reality. I can't make him understand. I can only protect myself. Sophie and Ethan? I smiled. Every other Saturday. Last week, Ethan asked me about the Civil War. Not because he had to, because he wanted to. That's your legacy, Larry, Dorothy said. Not the house, not the money. The curiosity you sparked. 10 weeks after the eviction, I'd sent Garrett something. Eleanor's letter. A copy. With my own note attached. Garrett, your mother wrote this for us to read together. You hid it. I found it. I'm not sending this to hurt you. I'm sending it because she deserves to be heard. You broke a promise to her. That's between you and her memory. But you also broke something with me. Trust, respect, dignity. I didn't sell the house for revenge. I sold it for survival. Living in that garage, treated as help while I raised your children and paid your bills, that wasn't family. That was exploitation. You're my son. I love you. But love without respect is manipulation, and I won't accept it anymore. If you ever want to understand why I did this, read your mother's words. She knew. She tried to warn both of us. Sophie and Ethan are welcome in my life always. You and Natalie are welcome when you're ready to treat me as a person, not a convenience. The door isn't locked, but you have to knock now. Dad. 2 weeks later, a voicemail. January 18th, 11 p.m. Garrett's voice. Different, strained, raw. Dad, I read it. Mom's letter, multiple times. I don't know what to say. I'm sorry isn't enough. I know that. I don't expect forgiveness. But I want you to know, I see it now. What we did, what I became. I'm working on it. Therapy, actually. Natalie, too, individual and couples. We're trying to understand how we got so lost. Can we talk? Not about the house, about being a family. A real one, please. I listened to it 3 times. Didn't call back immediately. Needed time to assess if it was real, if therapy was genuine or damage control, but hope flickered. Small, cautious, January 22nd, 4 months to the day since they'd left for that cruise. I visited Eleanor's grave for the first time since moving. County cemetery, her plot under an oak tree. Headstone simple. Eleanor Henderson, beloved wife and mother, 1954 to 2022. I brought yellow roses, 4 of them, knelt in the snow. I kept my promise, I said aloud. I didn't let them forget what matters, even if it cost everything. But it hadn't cost everything. Cost? A house. Physical space. Comfort of family proximity. Gained? Self-respect. Peace, clarity, teaching again, community, dignity. Eleanor's voice in my memory. You taught them well, Larry. Even the hard lessons. I hope so, I whispered. God, I hope so. The wind picked up. Snow swirled. The oak tree's branches creaked. I stood, brushed snow off my knees, walked back to my Honda Civic, started the engine, drove to the townhouse, home. That night, I wrote in the journal I'd started keeping. New rules I've learned. 1. Love doesn't require sacrifice of dignity. 2. Family means mutual respect, not obligation. 3. Setting boundaries is an act of love. It teaches others how to treat you. 4. Legacy is what you instill, not what you leave behind. 5. Teachers shape futures, including their own. The next Saturday, Sophie and Ethan visited. Regular schedule now, every other weekend. 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. We made Eleanor's blueberry pancakes. I taught them the recipe, measured ingredients together. "Why did Grandma like these?" Sophie asked. She said they reminded her of summer, of being young, of possibility. "Do they remind you of her?" "Every bite." Ethan was quiet. Then, "Grandpa, I heard Daddy on the phone. He said he made mistakes with you. What does that mean?" I flipped a pancake, watched it brown. "It means grown-ups aren't perfect, buddy. We make mistakes. The important thing is learning from them." "Did you make mistakes?" "Many. I stayed quiet too long, didn't stand up for myself. That was a mistake." "But you fixed it," Sophie said. "You moved here. You're happy now." "I am. And you know what made the difference?" "What?" "Remembering I had a choice. We always have a choice about how we let people treat us." They ate pancakes, talked about school, showed me art projects, told me jokes, normal, healthy, loving. At 3:50 p.m., Garrett arrived for pickup, knocked on the door. First time he'd knocked, I answered. We stood there. Awkward. "They had a good time," I said. "Thank you for—" He stopped, started again. "I'm reading Mom's letter every day. I didn't understand. I'm starting to." Understanding is the first step. "Next Saturday, same time?" "Always." "The door's open for them." He nodded, loaded the twins in the car, waved. I waved back, closed the door, stood in my living room, grandfather clock ticking, Eleanor's recipe box on the shelf, Sophie and Ethan's drawings on the fridge. Peace. If you're watching this and you felt what I felt, undervalued, used, dismissed, hear me. Your worth isn't determined by who recognizes it. You taught yourself everything you know about survival. Now teach yourself about dignity. Standing up for yourself isn't selfish. It's self-respect. And to anyone who's ever been called simple for choosing meaning over money, you're not simple. You're essential. Teachers, caregivers, people who invest in others rather than portfolios. You matter. Thanks for listening. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments.